Chapter 18. I do mighty combat with eggs. There he is. TJ rose and grabbed my hand. Sit, join us. You made quite a first impression last night. He was dressed the same as yesterday, a blue wool army jacket over a green hotel shirt, jeans, and leather boots. With him sat the half-troll, X, the redhead, Mallory Keene, and a guy I guessed was half-born Gunderson. He kind of looked like Robinson Crusoe on steroids. His shirt was a patchwork of animal pelts. His hide pants were in tatters. Even by Viking standards, his beard was wild, decorated with most of the cheese omelet. My four hallmates made room for me at the table, which felt pretty good. Compared to the main feast hall, Lounge 19 was downright intimate. Scattered around the room were a dozen tables, most unoccupied. In one corner, a fireplace crackled in front of a beat-up sofa. Along the other wall, a buffet table was laden with every kind of breakfast food imaginable, and a few kinds I had never imagined. TJ and company had parked themselves in front of a big picture window overlooking a vast field of ice and swirling snow. It made no sense, considering that it was summer in my atrium right down the hall, but I'd already learned that the hotel's geography was whack. That's Niflheim, TJ explained. That's the realm of ice. The view changes daily, cycling through the 9 worlds. The 9 worlds. I stared at my scrambled eggs, wondering which solar system they'd come from. Yeah, I keep hearing about the 9 worlds. Hard to believe. Mallory Keene blew powdered sugar off her donut. Believe it, newbie. I've visited 6 of them so far. 5 here, Halfborn grinned, showing me the rest of his cheese omelet. Of course, Midgard hardly counts. That's the human world. Been to Alfheim, Nidavellir, Jotunheim, Disney World, X said. Mallory sighed. With her red hair, green eyes, and powdered sugar around her mouth, she reminded me of a reverse color scheme Joker. For the last time, you numbskull, Disney World is not one of the 9. Well, why is it called a world then? X nodded smugly. Argument won. He went back to his meal, sucking meat from a shell of a large crustacean. TJ pushed the empty plate away. Magnus, I don't know if it helps, but the 9 worlds aren't really separate planets. They're more like different dimensions, different layers of reality, all connected by the world tree. Yes, thanks, I said. That's much more confusing. He laughed. Yeah, I guess it is. The world tree is the tree in the feast hall. Nah, Mallory said, the world tree is much bigger. You'll see sooner or later. That sounded ominous. I tried to concentrate on my food, but it was difficult with X right next to me demolishing a slimy mutant crab. I pointed at TJ's jacket. That's a Civil War uniform? Private in the 54th Massachusetts, my friend. I'm a Boston boy, same as you. I just got here a little earlier. I did the calculations. So you died in battle 150 years ago? TJ beamed. The assault on Fort Wagner, South Carolina. My dad was Tyre, god of courage, law, and trial by combat. My mom was a runaway slave. I tried to fit that into my new world view. A teenager from the 1860s, the son of a former slave and a Norse god, who is now having breakfast with me in an extra-dimensional hotel. X belch, which put things in perspective. Gods of Asgard, Mallory complained. That smell. Sorry, X grunted. Is your name really X? I asked. No, my name is... The half-troll said something that started with K's, and it went on for about 30 seconds. Halfborn wiped his hands on his pelt shirt. You see, nobody can pronounce that. We call him X. X, agreed X. He's another one of Sam Alabas's acquisitions, TJ said. X stumbled across a dogfight, one of those illegal ones. Where? Chicago? Chicago, affirmed X. He saw what was going on and went nuts. Started smashing up the place, walloping the bedders, freeing the animals. Dogs should fight for themselves, X said. Not for greedy humans. They should be wild and free. They shouldn't be kept in cages. I didn't want to argue with the big guy, but I wasn't sure I liked the idea of wild dogs fighting for themselves. That sounded a lot like wolves. An animal, which I refused to harbinge. Anyway, TJ said, it turned into a full-scale battle. X against a bunch of gangsters with automatic weapons. They finally killed him, but X took down a lot of scumbags and freed a lot of dogs. That was, what, a month ago? X grunted and continued sucking on his shellfish. TJ spread his hands. Samira judged him worthy and brought him here. She got some flack for that decision. Mallory snorted. Pfft, that's putting it mildly. A troll in Valhalla? Who could possibly object? Half troll, X corrected. That is my better half, Mallory Keene. She didn't mean anything, X. TJ said, it's just that prejudice dies hard. When I got here in 1863, I wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms either. Mallory rolled her eyes. Then you won them over with your dazzling personality. I swear, you lot are giving Floor 19 a bad name. And now we have Magnus. Halfborn leaned toward me. Don't mind Mallory. She's a sweetheart once you get past the fact that she's a horrible person. Shut up, Halfborn. The big guy chuckled. She's just grumpy because she died trying to disarm a car bomb with her face. Mallory's ears turned red as a hummingbird juice. I didn't. It wasn't... Ugh! Magnus, don't worry about the mess last night, continued Halfborn. Folks will forget about it in a few decades. Believe me, I've seen it all. I died during the Viking invasion of East Anglia, fought under the banner of Ivar the Boneless, took 20 arrows to the chest, protecting my thane. Ouch, I said. Halfborn shrugged. I've been here for, going on, 1,200 years now. I stared at him. Despite his bulk and his beard, Halfborn looked maybe 18, tops. How do you stand it without going crazy, and why do they call you Halfborn? His smile faded. Second question first. When I was born, I was so big, strong, and ugly that my mother said that I looked like I'd been half born and half carved from rock. The name stuck. And you're still ugly, Mallory muttered. As to how to avoid going crazy in here, some do lose it, Magnus. Waiting for Ragnarok is hard. The trick is to keep busy. There's plenty to do here. Me, I've learned a dozen languages, including English. I earned a doctorate in Germanic literature, and I learned to knit. TJ nodded. That's why I invited you to breakfast, Magnus. To learn knitting? To keep active. Spending too much time alone in your room can be dangerous. If you isolate, you start to fade. Some of the old-timers... He cleared his throat. Well, it doesn't really matter. You're here. Just keep showing up every morning until doomsday. You'll be fine. I stared out the window at the swirling snow. I thought about Sam's warning to find the sword. The Norns chanting that something bad would happen in 9 days. You said you visited other worlds, so that means you can leave the hotel? The group exchanged uneasy glances. Yes, Halfborn said, but our main job is to wait for Ragnarok. Train, train, train. I rode the train at Disney World, said X. Maybe he meant it as a jest. The half-troll seemed to have two facial expressions, wet cement and dry cement. Occasionally, said TJ, the Inherjar are sent into the 9 worlds on missions. Tracking down monsters, Mallory offered. Killing giants who cross into Midgard, stopping witches and whites, and of course dealing with rogues. Whites? Rogues? I asked. Point is, said Halfborn, we only leave Valhalla under orders from Odin or the Thanes. But, hypothetically, I said, I could go back to Earth, Midgard, whatever. Hypothetically, yes, TJ said. Look, I know that business with the Norns must be driving you bonkers, but we don't know what the prophecy means. Give the Thanes some time to decide what to do. You can't rush off and do something stupid. Gods forbid, said Mallory. We never do anything stupid. Like that late-night pizza run to San Arpeos. That never happened. Shut up, woman, Halfborn growled. Woman? Mallory reached for the knife at her belt. Watch your words, you overgrown Swedish hamster. Hold on, I said. You guys know how to sneak out of... TJ coughed loudly. Sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm sure you weren't asking about anything against the rules. Magnus, first of all, if you return to Midgard so soon, how would you explain it to those who knew you? Everyone thinks you're dead. Usually, if we go back, we wait until everyone we know is dead. It's easier all around. Besides, it takes a while, sometimes a year, for your Inherji strength to develop fully. I tried to imagine waiting here for years. I didn't have many friends or relatives to go back to. Still, I didn't want to be stuck here, learning new languages, knitting sweaters for ages. After seeing my cousin Annabeth, I kind of wanted to reconnect with her before she died. And if Samira was right about my mom not being in Valhalla, I wanted to find her wherever she was. But it's possible to leave without permission, I persisted. Maybe not forever, just for a while. TJ shifted uncomfortably. Valhalla has doors into every world. The hotel's designed that way. Most exits are guarded, but... Well, there are a lot of ways to Boston, since Boston is the center of Midgard. I glanced around the table. Nobody was laughing. It is? Sure, TJ said. It's right at the trunk of the world tree, the easiest spot from which to access the other worlds. Why do you think Boston is called the hub of the universe? Wishful thinking? No, mortals have always known there was something about that location, even if they couldn't put their finger on what it was. The Vikings searched for the center of the world for years. They knew the entrance to Asgard was in the west. That's one reason they kept exploring into North America. When they met the Native Americans, we called them Skralings, Halfborn said. Vicious fighters. I liked them. The natives had all sorts of stories about how strong the spirit world was in the area. But later when the Puritans settled, well, John Winthrop's vision of a shining city on the hill, that wasn't just a metaphor. He had a vision of Asgard, a glimpse into the other worlds. And the Salem witch trials? Hysteria caused by magic seeping into Midgard. Edgar Allan Poe was born in Boston. It's no accident that his most famous poem was about a raven, one of Odin's sacred animals. Enough! Mallory gave me a disgusted look. TJ will take forever when answering a yes or no question. The answer is yes, Magnus. It's possible to leave with or without permission. X cracked a crab claw. You would not be immortal. Yeah, TJ said, that's the second big problem. In Valhalla, you can't die. Not permanently. You'll just keep getting resurrected. As part of the training. I remember the guy who had gotten impaled in the lobby and dragged off by wolves. Hunting had said he'd be fine again by dinner. But outside of Valhalla, out in the Nine Worlds, TJ said, you're still an Inhari. You're faster, you're stronger, and tougher than any regular mortal. But if you die out there, you stay dead. Your soul might go to Helheim. Or you might simply dissolve into the primordial void. Gin Unga Gap. Hard to know. It's really not worth the risk. Unless, Halfborn picks some egg out of his beard, unless you really did find the Sword of Frey and the legends are true. It's Magnus's first stage, TJ said. Let's not get into that. He's already freaked out enough. Well, freak me out some more. I said, what legends exactly? In the hallway, a horn blasted. At the other tables, Inherjar started to get up and clear their plates. Halfborn rubbed his hands eagerly. Talking will have to wait. It's battle time. Battle time, X agreed. TJ grimaced. Magnus, we probably should warn you about the first day initiation. Don't be discouraged if... Oh, shush, said Mallory. Don't spoil the surprise. She gave me a powdered sugar smile. I can't wait to see the new boy get dismembered.